Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on the channel, Charles Morris. Now, I'd like to get into a part 2 of the Merry Piglets situation, and I have been gathering more details on the whole thing that happened. Now, according to a YouTuber who had a video up, her name is Rebecca Zung. Now, one of the things I want to make pretty clear is that I got a bit more details on what had happened. Brian Laundrie had been fighting with the hostess and the manager. And it's pretty clear to me what narcissists actually do. And this is what Rebecca Zung does. She helps people to identify what narcissists do. And this is very interesting to me to watch Rebecca Zung, because it helps to watch Rebecca Zung's videos in case you're wondering on how to identify a narcissist. So that's one thing that was really interesting to me. And I wanted to get more what gone on behind the scenes of what Brian Laundrie had been doing. So, like I said, Brian Laundrie has been fighting with the hostess. He fought with the manager, and he just goes completely like on narcissist mode and complains about like the money, the bill. Like, you know how narcissists are. They're all about power and control. You're either with them if you are a narcissist and you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and they're not giving you total control of their life, they don't like that. Eventually, the true colors actually end up coming out. They try to back you in a corner that would try to make you feel like you're defenseless, and then try to I had experience with this once, and they can try to call the cops on you if you end up trying to defend yourself against a narcissist. And narcissists can be terrible people to actually be around with. So let me get into when you... Well, let me start back with the, let me go back to the, Merry Piglets situation. So, I've said that Brian Laundrie fought with the manager, fought with the hostess, and was yelling at Gabbi Petito in the restaurant. And she has... She had, like, what I would call a meltdown in Merry Piglets. She went out of the restaurant because she couldn't stand being around Brian Laundrie. Now, Brian Laundrie was yelling and screaming in the restaurant, I would imagine, complaining about the bill at the time and stuff. Went into the restaurant several times, or at least 4 times, according to what Rebecca Zung has said. And he literally just... I guess I would say try to at least calm Gabbi down. Eventually, Gabbi Petito went back into the restaurant, apologized for Brian Laundrie's behavior, and this is where stuff could have started to come a bit downhill. I believe rage might have built up to Brian Laundrie, as in a way to actually say, you don't expose me like that, and that stuff. And for that, you're going to suffer the consequence. So that probably would have happened over there at the Grand Teton National Park. And this is where Gabbi was left alive. And Gabbi Petito possibly would have been strangled in her van by Brian Laundrie himself. With no weapon. Just bare hands. Brian Laundrie could have struggled her inside the van, took her out the back. By the way, they were probably parked out in the tree. Or she could have strangled Gabbi Petito in the van, drove off to that part where that section of the park where there was a tree, and then there was miles away, there was like creeks that Brian Laundrie, who is a News Nation journalist, and he went back and found Gabbi buried right across from where some creeks were. He went to check out the place where the van was last seen. He walked across some creeks and found the body of Gabbi Petito. Now, the body wasn't there, but the markings were there to signify where the body was located. Now, let me get back to what I was going to say about Brian Laundrie. That incident that happened that led up to the murder. According to the the coroner report, the homicide was done in The homicide was committed through strangulation, according to the coroner report. Who was this done by? Probably Brian Laundrie. Now I'm going to go back to saying Brian Laundrie probably stopped at the Grand Teton National Park and probably, I don't know, maybe it wasn't inside the van. Maybe this was at a campground. Possibly strangled Gabbi Petito out there and strangled her to death because Gabbi Petito lost consciousness and decided, I gotta fight back because, well, she decided that enough is enough. I'm gonna fight back. She wants to fight back against this narcissist. She decided to call it quits on trying to stay together with Brian Laundrie. That's where Brian Laundrie was filled with rage and strangled Gabbi Petito to the point of death. Probably put her back in that van and went to go dump her body off out in the faraway place that was the... Brian Laundrie probably parked the van out there in the section where that tree was, that Miranda Baker, who showed that camera footage, who found that white van parked by a tree, and it looked like almost nobody was in there. And she said that the white van was there. She showed footage of that van being parked over there. Brian Laundrie could have took the body of Gabbi Petito that he murdered, probably gone off into that field, crossed those creeks, and, left her body out there, hoping that the police would not find the body. And since we've heard about Brian Laundrie's body being found over there at the Carlton Reserve in the Florida Natural Reserve, his bones, according to a dental report, those belongings were indeed of Brian Laundrie. And now here's the other thing. There's this, I keep seeing these posts on YouTube from Tamara, a person called Tamara, said that a kid was going fishing there, and what happened was the kid was expecting to catch a fish and instead caught a gun. So that probably said that Brian Laundrie probably gone out and shot himself. Now, I did look at reports. It says that Brian Laundrie possibly committed suicide if he knew he was going to get convicted of killing and murdering Gabbi Petito, like strangling her to death. So Brian Laundrie thought, you know what? He thought it would be, better to just put himself to death and just get it done and over with. Normally that's not what narcissists want to do, but I don't know. Brian Laundrie is just, he's a weird character. So you could expect him to do, anything. Now, he not only has problem with his own fiance, but he could have, like, multiple problems and lash shot at, like, multiple people. Not just Gabbi Petito. So, this is interesting. So, in Merry Piglets, he fights with the hostess. He fights with the manager. And he complains about the bill. And he goes out of that restaurant several times, or at least 4 times, according to Rebecca Young or Zung. And he at this point, he's pretty much lost his mind. And, makes like causes like a big scene out there in Merry Piglets. Eventually, Gabbi Petito comes in there and apologizes for his behavior. And Brian Laundrie possibly decided, it's like, okay, you know what, I just can't put up with you anymore. So, as for that, your punishment is going to be, like, very severe, and probably was going to decide at some point at that trip in Grand Teton National Park, take Gabby's life. Even when Gabbi Petito probably did not even see that coming. So, hopefully that helps clear things up a bit. I hope that people got a clear understanding of who Brian Laundrie is right now, because he is a narcissist, and I believe he indeed murdered Gabbi Petito through strangulation. Like I said, he is a narcissist. He is capable of doing this kind of stuff. So, I think it's pretty obvious who murdered Gabbi Petito out there at the Grand Teton National Park, and it should be Brian Laundrie. I believe Brian Laundrie went out there at the Carlton Reserve to kill himself because he knew he'd probably get the death penalty, since this happened at a federal area in Wyoming. And who knows, I don't even know if he could have got the death penalty over there in Florida, or if he had to be transported over there at Wyoming to appear in federal court. I don't know what would have happened there. But eventually, somewhere, he probably would have been convicted of killing Gabbi Petito and be ordered to be put to death by law enforcement. And right there, that should have been able to clear some things up. Now, there is a investigation discovery that's going to be put up. It's called In Pursuit by John Walsh. And hopefully that could give you a pretty clear picture almost of what this whole case was about. And hopefully that should clear some things up about this whole case. I wanted to get out there and explain the whole case. Or mostly stuff that would actually clear up the picture a bit more on who Brian Laundrie was and who he is and that stuff. If you also look at the body cam footage, his body language was showing that he was scared of the cops. So that's another sign of him using his narcissistic ways of trying to talk himself out of a situation that he found himself trapped in. And that should be, to explain in this video and, talk to everyone who had been watching this video to actually get a clear understanding of who Brian Laundrie is. This video will be there for those who are find themselves in domestic violence situations, that stuff. And also be careful of who you are dating, because you have no idea if you're dating a narcissist, and they could put you against a wall and you could be defenseless and they could end up taking your life. And that's what this video and mostly this series is about. And you can refer back to this series if you find yourself in domestic violence situations. Please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, Charles Morris. And I will see you all in the next video. Have a good day, and stay out of narcissistic relationships. It's for your own good. Have a good day.